For 48 hours, the entire sports world thought Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White were at war. Millions watched the viral clip. Fans demanded answers. Analysts declared the relationship broken. But then Caitlin Clark stepped in front of the cameras and revealed a deeply personal story that changed everything. A story nobody saw coming. And while her comments may have ended the controversy, they exposed an even bigger problem inside the Indiana Fever organization that still has not been fixed. Welcome back to WNBA Action. Today, we are breaking down the truth behind the viral screaming match, the emotional revelation that shut down the rumors, and the massive tactical collapse that the media is trying to ignore. Hit that subscribe button, because we are diving deep into the real story. It all started with a short clip from the sideline during Indiana's blowout loss to the Portland Fire. You can see head coach Stephanie White in the huddle during a timeout, highly animated, speaking directly to Caitlin Clark. And then, White does something that nobody expected to see on national television. She tells Clark to get out of the huddle and replaces her with Raven Johnson. Clark, visibly frustrated after a night where she was shooting 1 of 7 from the field, is removed from the coaching conversation mid-timeout. The clip spread across social media in minutes. By Sunday morning, it had been viewed millions of times. Cheryl Miller watched it live on the NBC broadcast and said something that cut through every excuse and every diplomatic deflection. She said, "Right now there is frustration in Indiana. Unfortunately, it is boiling over and it is being seen." She said, "It is one thing to have it behind closed doors, but when it spills over and the coach has to basically say, 'Caitlin, enough is enough, this is too disruptive, in and out, take a seat,' that is a massive problem." What happened on that sideline Saturday night quickly became the biggest public controversy involving Clark and White this season. But let me give you the full context, because the viral clip is 30 seconds of a much longer and much more complicated story of bad rotations and tactical collapse. It all started in the first quarter. White pulled Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Lexi Hull all together in the middle of the first quarter after the Fever jumped out to an 8-2 lead. It was early, the momentum was great, and White chose that exact moment to rest all 3 starters at the very same time. The result? Portland went on a massive 19-4 run. That 8-2 Fever lead became a 5-point deficit before any of the 3 starters even came back. That run changed the entire complexion of the game. Outkick's Bobby Burack was direct about what happened. He wrote that it was White's decision to pull the starters that really started the collapse. He noted that the Fever keep giving fans reasons to wonder whether the franchise knows exactly what to do with Caitlin Clark. That is the ultimate question. The media was too busy salivating over the drama. The spat saved Stephanie White from answering for her own incompetence. Nobody asked her about her horrific rotations. Nobody asked why she used 21 different lineups in the first quarter alone. The sideline drama acted as a perfect shield to mask her coaching failures. But Caitlin Clark just ended that narrative. Completely, definitively, with words that cut through every conspiracy theory and every viral clip that has been circulating since Saturday night. She stood at the Indiana Fever practice facility on Monday morning and addressed the sideline exchange with Coach White directly. Take a listen.
Nobody gave a shit to talk about the WNBA during her second year. And now here we are, the third year, a few games into the season. Her and Stephanie White already have a few dust-ups. We see Stephanie White grabbing her. We see Brianne January grabbing her. This is the biggest thing the WNBA has going for it right now. And of course, it's Caitlin Clark. But before we get into it, it's actually interesting. All the media outlets that are saying, "Oh, we shouldn't focus on..."
"I think a lot of those things happen all the time," Clark said. "I know there is a camera on me, and that is how it is going to be. But there are a lot of people out there in the media or on TV that think they know a lot of things, and they are just blatantly wrong about a lot of things." Clark is not denying the frustration was visible. She is saying the interpretation of what it means is wrong. Two competitive people disagreeing in the heat of a basketball game is not a sign of a broken relationship. It is a sign of two people who care deeply about winning. And then, she addressed her relationship with White specifically, dropping a massive emotional truth. She said, "It is great. When I got hurt at the Connecticut game last year, I bawled in Steph's arms. That is somebody I will ride for the rest of my life." Those are the moments that people do not see. People that just sit on their phones all day, they do not see those moments. They do not see the moments when we come into work. They do not see the moments that really absolutely suck, that people have your back, but they think they know everything. In reality, they do not have a clue. In reality, they do not have a clue. Clark is talking directly to the people who have spent the last 48 hours building conspiracy theories. She is telling them directly, "You do not know. You were not there. You are wrong." WNBA Action is going to explain why that Connecticut reference is the most powerful thing Clark could possibly have said. Clark suffered her worst injury of the 2025 season against the Connecticut Sun. White used to coach the Connecticut Sun before coming to Indiana. The game where Clark got hurt was against White's former team, the team that White built over several seasons, and in that moment, when Clark was hurt and vulnerable and devastated, White held her. Clark balled in her arms. That private moment is the foundation of a relationship that the outside world is trying to destroy based on a 30-second sideline video. But basketball is still a tactical game. When asked what went wrong defensively against Portland, Clark pointed out exactly what the failure was. Watch this.
Anywho, let's get right into it, shall we? Like the video, hype the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. Caitlin Clark on her sideline exchange with Coach White. Let's take a listen.
First of all, two people being competitive, two people that really want to win, and you know, I think a lot of those things happen all the time, and I know there's a camera on me, and
she identified the flaw instantly. The defensive rotations were slow. Now, rotations are a coaching scheme issue. Stephanie White is the architect of those rotations. But when the media pressed White on that catastrophic first-quarter decision to bench her stars during an 8-2 run, she gave an answer that simply does not add up. Watch Stephanie White try to justify this momentum-killing move.
Yeah, that works. Just make sure you say something nice. Okay.
That person has your back. Ooh. Ooh. There's a lot of people out there in the media, on TV, that think they know a lot of things, and they're just blatantly wrong. You hear that, guys? They love each other. Caitlin loves Steph, and Steph loves Caitlin. There's nothing we can do about it. Now,
a typical substitution pattern: you do not extinguish your own fire just to stick to a script on a clipboard. When White spoke on Monday, she tried to minimize the sideline huddle incident, but then she said something that was immediately controversial. Watch how Stephanie White flips the narrative to double standards.
I think what happened in that moment is I was challenging a player. You know, it's coaching. It's what it is. You know, I don't often think it becomes an issue if you're watching it in men's sports most of the time.
oh yes, that's right. The victim part, the victim mentality. Oh, we're women, so you're picking on us. Smart, Herb Simon. That's a smooth.
She said she does not often think it becomes an issue if you are watching it in men's sports most of the time. Now, White has a point. Male coaches yell at male players every single game without generating national news. The gender dynamics of sports coverage is a real topic worth discussing. But making the men's sports comparison right now shifted the conversation from closing the Clark story to opening a new debate. And that is a communication mistake from a coach who has been making communication mistakes all season, especially when she turns around and publicly doubts her own team's abilities on offense, as she did here.
You means ongoing. Well, you're not bringing the best out of her. And in your mind, she's not bringing the best out of you, which is why you say that your team plays faster when Raven Johnson's in and not Caitlin Clark. So are you guys really bringing the best out of each other? What's there to continue? Shout out to Millie over there. I'm Millie Rock on any block. New York Liberty fan. Caitlin Clark fan as well. She understands the media aspect of this. Okay. So nobody in the WNBA media asked Stephanie White.
I do not think we have shot the three ball particularly well all season. Instead of taking the blame for poor offensive sets, she throws the team's shooting under the bus. Lexi Hull gave the most useful explanation of what actually happened during the timeout. She said Portland was picking on Clark a little bit on the defensive end. Clark got into foul trouble, frustrations rose, and decisions had to be made. She emphasized it was not something that carried on, and it did not affect the team chemistry. So, here is what Monday's press conference actually resolved and what it did not. What it resolved is the question of whether Clark and White's relationship is in crisis. It is not. Clark said so directly in the most personal and emotional terms possible. The Connecticut moment. The balling in White's arms. I ride for Steph. Those are not the words of a player who wants her coach gone. The relationship is intact. The interpretation that it was broken was always wrong and Clark corrected it. What it did not resolve are the basketball problems. The Fever are 4-4. They have lost 4 of their last 5 games. Clark has shot a combined 4 of 19 from the field in those last 2 losses. The rotation decisions that led to the first quarter Portland collapse have still not been explained satisfactorily. Clark defending White is not the same as the Fever figuring out how to win games. Monday's press conference was necessary, and Clark handled it with absolute grace. Today, WNBA Action is giving you the truth. Clark rides for White. The relationship is fine. The basketball is broken. And WNBA Action will keep covering both until the Fever fix what needs fixing. Smash subscribe if you want the coverage that tells you what is real and what is noise. Drop your take in the comments. Does Clark's defense of White change your view of the coaching situation? Or are the basketball problems still the main story? I want every opinion. Hit the notification bell because Thursday against the Dream is coming fast and the Fever cannot afford another loss. WNBA Pro will be right here tracking every single development.